Hi dear students, you are welcome in this video. Dear students, we are making a series on previous year's question papers, and this is the next video in the same series, and we have taken this paper from November 2017, and this is net paper 3rd. So we are covering here multiple choice questions right from 26 to 50, means 25 questions we are covering here. So please take a pen and paper and write down question number 1, and before that question number 1 your correct option, so that you can calculate your score at the end of the video. So let's start with the question number 26. Here, Stephen Krashen's theory of second language acquisition consists of 6 main hypotheses. Which of the following is not one of them? And here we have 4 options. Number 1, the input hypothesis. Number 2, the effective filter hypothesis. Number 3, the monitor hypothesis. And number 4, the writing hypothesis. Now you must understand question clearly, because here you see that here what is asked here, you have asked that which of the following is not. So you have to stress out which is not the hypothesis by Stephen Krashen, and the correct option is number 4, the writing hypothesis. Question number 27, among Derek Walcott's plays, which one is exploration of colonial relationships through the Robinson Crusoe story? And the options are number 1, pantomime, number 2, dream on Monkey Mountain, number 3, T. and his brothers, and number 4, the Charlton. And the correct option here is number 1, pantomime. Question number 28, anti-foundationalism holds that. What is there in the anti-foundationalism? Number 1, every theory poses different questions, and therefore what counts as fact and truth differs in every case. Number 2, all truth claims can be judged true or false, usually against empirical facts. Number 3, casual statements about the relationship between dependent and independent variables can be made. Number 4, truth is the foundation of all representational experience. So what is there in the anti-foundationalism? And the correct option here we have number 1, every theory poses different questions, and therefore what counts as fact and truth differs in every case. Question number 29, the interaction hypothesis is a theory of second language acquisition which states that the development of language proficiency is promoted by face-to-face interaction and communication. The idea is usually credited to number 1. Whose idea is that? Number 1, David Noonan. Number 2, Michael Long. Number 3, Alastair Pennycook. And number 4, Claire Cramsh. And the correct option is number 2, Michael Long. Question number 30. In Pinter's birthday party, Stanley is terrorized by 2 visitors to a seaside boarding house. Identify the 2. A. McGrath, B. Goldberg, C. McCann, and D. Robinson. And the combination is number 1, A and B, number 2, B and C, number 3, A and D, number 4, B and D. And the correct option is number 2, means Goldberg and McCann. 31. Match the phrases to the ode. A. Beach and Green. Number 1, Ode on a Grecian Urn. B. Gathering Swallows. Number 2, Ode on Melancholy. C. Globed Peonies. Number 3, Ode to a Nightingale. And D. Green Altar. Number 4, To Autumn. And the combination is number 1, A is to 3, B is to 2, and C is to 4, and D is to 1. Just you have to recognize what is the correct combination. Number 2, A is to 4, B is to 2, C is to 3, and D is to 1. Number 3, A is to 4, B is to 3, C is to 2, and D is to 1. Number 4, A is to 3, B is to 4, C is to 2, and D is to 1. And the correct combination is, here you see, number 4, means Beach and Green, Ode to a Nightingale, then Gathering Swallows, To Autumn, Globed Peonies, Ode on Melancholy, and last Green Altar, Ode on a Grecian Urn. So that is the correct combination. Number 32, which 19th century novelist expressed a wish to exterminate the race of Indians following the 1857 mutiny in India? And options are William Makepeace Thackeray, number 2 Charles Dickens, number 3 George Eliot, number 4 Anthony Trollope. And the correct option is number 2 Charles Dickens. 33. The second part of Pilgrim's Progress deals with the pilgrimage of Christian's wife Christiana. She has a companion and a guide in this journey. Pick out the pair's names from the following list: A. Patience, B. Tender Heart, C. Mercy, and D. Green Heart. And the combination is number 1 C and D, number 2 B and C, number 3 A and D, and number 4 B and D. And the correct option is number 1 means Mercy and Green Heart. 34. In which play by Eugene Ionesco do you find the grotesque image of the leg of a corpse thrusting into the stage, and which begins to grow larger as the play progresses in a menacing manner? Options are number 1 The Bard Soprano, number 2 Amid or How to Get Rid of It, number 3 Exit the King, and number 4 The Lesson. And the correct option is number 2 Amid or How to Get Rid of It. 35. Which of the following characters finds that complete happiness eludes you, and that while you are making the choice of life you neglect to live? Options are number 1 Lovelace in Samuel Richardson's Clarissa, number 2 Rasselas in Samuel Johnson's Rasselas, number 3 Matthew Bramble in Tobias Smollett's Humphrey Clinker, and number 4 Harley in Henry Mackenzie's The Man of Feeling. And the correct option is number 2 Rasselas in Samuel Johnson's Rasselas. 36. Arrange the following in the chronological order of publication. Number 1 In Memoriam, A Christmas Carol, Men and Women, Henry Esmond. Number 2 A Christmas Carol, In Memoriam, Men and Women, Henry Esmond. Number 3 A Christmas Carol, In Memoriam, Henry Esmond, Men and Women. And number 4 In Memoriam, A Christmas Carol, Henry Esmond, Men and Women. And the correct option is number 3 First, A Christmas Carol, second, In Memoriam, third, Henry Esmond, and number 4 Men and Women. 37. Which of Alice Munro's short stories is about the domestic erosions of Alzheimer's disease? Number 1 Dear Life, number 2 Runway, number 3 The Bear Came Over the Mountain, and number 4 Dance of the Happy Shades. And the correct option is number 3 The Bear Came Over the Mountain. 38. What work begins thus? It befell in the days of Uther Pendragon, when he was king of all England, and so reigned, that there was a mighty duke in Cornwall that held war against him long time. Options are number 1 Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, number 2 Lee Mottedy Arthur, number 3 Confessio Amantis, number 4 Piers Plowman. And the correct option is number 2 Lee Mottedy Arthur. 39 dash is the subject of Asif Karim Boy's play Inquilab. What is the subject of Inquilab? Number 1 the Naxalite movement, number 2 the Freedom movement, number 3 non-cooperation movement, and number 4 the Khilafat movement. And the correct option is number 1 the Naxalite movement. Question number 40. Tom Stoppard's play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, being meta-theatrical, lays bare the constructed nature of theatrical performance. In referring to Hamlet's end and the Elizabethan stage conditions lacking curtains, one of the characters of Stoppard's play says, "No one gets up after death. There is no applause. There is only silence and some second-hand clothes, and that's death." Who makes this statement? Number 1 Rosencrantz, number 2 Guildenstern, number 3 the player, and number 4 Hamlet. And the correct option is number 2 Guildenstern. 41. Who among the following has translated the classic Malayalam novel Chemin? And the options are number 1 A.K. Ramanujan, number 2 Anita Nair, number 3 Nandini Nopani, and number 4 Geeta Krishna Kutti. And the correct option is number 4 Geeta Krishnan Kutti. 42. Which Victorian poet is the author of the following lines? God himself is the best poet, and real is his song. Number 1 Lord Tennyson, number 2 Robert Browning, number 3 Matthew Arnold, and number 4 Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And the correct option is number 4 Elizabeth Barrett Browning. 43. Your words your listeners see written on your face the poems they hear, like letters carved in a tree's bark, the sight and sounds of solitudes endured. These these are lines from a poem dash on the death of dash. Number one, T.S. Eliot, Robert Frost. Number two, Siegfried Sassoon, Wilfred Owen. Number three, Stephen Spender, W.H. Auden. And number four, Dylan Thomas, Robert Bridges. And the correct option is number 3, Stephen Spender on W.H. Auden. 44. Allen Ginsberg's Hall, a key work of the Beat movement, was dedicated to dash. Number 1, Lucien Carr. Number 2, Carl Solomon. Number 3, Herbert Hunk. And number 4, Jack Kerouac. And the correct option is number 2, Carl Solomon. 45. In his views on the death of Cordelia in King Lear, which is the ground not specifically cited by Samuel Johnson. Number 1, it is contrary to the natural ideas of justice. Number 2, it is contrary to Neoplatonic ideas of decorum. Number 3, it is contrary to the hope of the reader. And number 4, it is contrary to the faith of chronicles. And the correct option is number 2, it is contrary to Neoplatonic ideas of decorum. 46. Which of the following plays by David Hare is not part of a trilogy of State of the Nation plays? Number 1, The Absence of War. Number 2, Racing Demon. Number 3, The Power of Yes. And number 4, Murmuring Judges. And the correct option is number 3, The Power of Yes. 47. Chimamanda Adichie's last novel, Americana, 2013, centers on the romantic and existential struggles of a young Nigerian woman studying in the United States and finding success as a blogger. What is her belonging about? Number 1, poverty. Number 2, development. Number 3, race. And number 4, religion. And the correct option is number 3, race. 48. Why does Father Dolan push Stephen with the pandybat in Joyce's portrait of the artist as a young man? Number 1, Stephen is talking to another student to get the answer to a Latin problem. Number 2, Stephen is not doing his work because his glasses are broken. Number 3, Stephen is looking out of the window towards the infirmary. Number 4, Stephen is lost in remembering his mother's farewell and cannot hear Father Dolan calling out his name. And the correct option is number 1, Stephen is not doing his work because his glasses broken. 49. Using a non-linear narrative, this American novel explores the psychic damage to a veteran of World War II and shows how a measure of healing is attained through his acceptance of Laguna, myths and rituals. Identify the work. Number 1, Dread. Number 2, Beloved. And number 3, Ceremony. And number 4, End Zone. And the correct option is number 3, Ceremony. And here we have the last question of the series. What illusion does Lyuba Renowski in Anton Chekhov's play The Cherry Orchard have as she looks at the orchard? Number 1, she sees it gleaming with a bluish aura. Number 2, she sees her dead mother walking through the orchard. Number 3, she sees it full of ripe fruits without a trace of leaves. Number 4, she sees her childhood friends playing in the orchard. And the correct option is number 2, she sees her dead mother walking through the orchard. Now, dear friends, this is all 50 questions. I hope you solved all the questions. Now you can calculate your score according to your answers. How many answers you could give correctly. So this is all about this video. Let's meet in the next video. If you want more videos on the same series, please comment below in the comment section. Thank you very much.